Warning, I'm just having fun with old cars. I hope you get some tips and a good laugh from watching, but don't do what I do on your projects. What is up, everybody? Uh, we're back again. Um, yeah, I don't really know what's gonna happen in this video. I got a lot of stuff to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. It doesn't really make sense, does it? Uh, Listen, I've been I've been pushing these videos, trying to get them done enough that I kind of stopped having fun, and that's not what this is about. So again, I don't know what I'm gonna get accomplished today. I got a bunch of stuff to do, but whatever it is, that's what this video is gonna be. And yeah, we're just kind of see what happens. The first thing I'm gonna do is I went to the Amazonian website and bought the cheapest fuel pressure regulator that I could find, because I have a theory with the C10 that the fuel pump is actually producing too much pressure, because I've mostly off camera, I've had a terrible time trying to get that thing to run right the last little while. It could be the cheap Chinese carburetor I bought, but last week I screwed with it for a while, and it seemed like if I could choke the fuel down, it would run better. I did that with a pair of locking pliers, so that's probably not the best. But yeah, this thing was 20 bucks. It came with, you know, hose and fittings and clamps and stuff. So we're gonna put that in as kind of a proof of concept, because I'd really like to drive that truck, and it's driving me nuts. So it's not running right. So that's the first thing we're gonna do. I'll set you guys up real quick, and we'll get the fittings put in this thing, and then we'll go over to the truck and get it put in and see if it makes any difference. Probably won't, because that would be way too simple. And yeah, we'll just go from there. I got motor stuff I need to finish for the LS, and I've got transmission stuff I need to start. So we'll just see where the day goes. I'm not setting too many defined goals, because I just don't know what I'm gonna get to. So let me get you set up. Hang on. Okay. To start with, I already wrapped the fittings with thread tape. So yeah, we're just gonna put these in and try and get them tight enough to not leak. I've never used one of these style regulators. I know they're pretty well known for being garbage, but should at least tell me if it would make a difference, and at some point I can always pick up a nicer one. But this was like 20 bucks, so it'll get me started. Let me get this over tight with my non-line wrench so everyone can complain about it later. Strip it. That's perfect. Once you wear the corners off of it, it's tight enough. Put this one in. And I'm just gonna, this thing's pretty heavy, so I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put it. But I think I'm gonna put it before the, possibly before the filter, just so I can kind of see what the fuel's doing. Again, once you strip it out, it's tight. And yeah, let's go figure out where we're gonna put it in the truck. Okay, so what I've decided to do, we're gonna pull this fuel filter out right here. And I have a spot back near the gas tank that I can put this, which will filter it before the fuel pump, which is probably better anyway. This is like, this thing's got a brand new gas tank in it and like fresh lines and stuff, so I'm not too worried about it picking up a bunch of garbage. So that's kind of, then I don't have a filter and the regulator kind of flopping around up here. And if I find out that the regulator does what I want it to, I may end up ordering a better one anyway and kind of redoing all this. But yeah, just spill all the gas out, that's fine. This stuff's like gold these days. Maybe if I can get this filter out. Come on. You can do it. Golly. I don't even think I needed hose clamps on this thing. Okay, spill a little more gas. That's fine. We're just, whatever. It's going everywhere. It's fine. Now, put this here. And I have it, I don't know, I think, it didn't come with instructions, so I think I have it set at like 4.5 or 5 pounds of fuel pressure, which should be plenty for this deal. I think. I don't really know, because I don't really know anything, but need to figure out, I might have to make a bracket or something to keep that from bouncing off of there, or shorten that. I don't know. Let's just see if it works first. I'm gonna put the fuel filter in. I'm not gonna show you that because it's the same thing I just did, just opposite. And then we'll see if this thing will run. Okay, well, as you guys just saw, probably, I decided to take it on test drive. It's very dirty in here. That's besides the point. It actually seems to be running really good. So hopefully that fuel pressure regulator deal kind of solved the problem I was having. It still falls on its face hard when you try and open the secondaries on the carburetor. I'm not a tuning expert. You may not even consider me a beginner. So I don't know. I don't know if that's all carburetor related or a little bit timing related or both, maybe, probably. But honestly, this thing's a cruiser. It sounds good. It runs good as long as the secondaries don't come open. Obviously, I would like to have that problem fixed, but at least I'm able to drive it now. So that's exciting. Pretty happy about that. Maybe I'll upgrade. I don't know. I say I'm going to upgrade the fuel regulator and all that stuff, but honestly, you guys know by now I'm lazy, so I probably won't until it quits working or something. Yeah, that's exciting. Usually I'm wrong about pretty much everything, so I've kind of figured that I would change that and then it would still not run right. But yeah, I took it to go get gas, ran around the neighborhood a little bit, got out on the little highway by my house. It did okay. So that's good news. I've been trying to put miles on this thing and it just has not cooperated with me. So maybe now I can do that. Yeah, so now that that's done, I'm gonna move some vehicles around, and I think we're gonna get back on the LS motor stuff. I'd like to do a little bit more cleaning on it and final install that intake. So I think that's what we're gonna do. This video is just gonna be a bunch of different tinkering around because I got little stuff I need to finish, and I don't know if I want to dive into a big project today. So hang tight. I'm gonna get some stuff moved around and we'll screw with that motor a little bit. Okay. Yeah, it's been like an hour probably. I got my workbench in place. You can see I've been just tinkering with this thing. I spent a little bit of time getting it a little cleaner than it was, because if you saw the last video, I don't know, I was trying to get it done in a timely manner, so I didn't clean it quite as good as I wanted, but I kind of went back and did a little more. It's still not perfect, but it's gonna be good enough. Yeah, let me I'll kind of show you real quick what I did, and then we're going to try and get that intake set up where we can put it on. Hopefully it won't have to come back off. I don't know any reason it would, but that could change. So yeah, let me show you what I've been doing, and then we'll get started on that, and I don't know, we'll see what else we get to. So this doesn't look much different than it did in the last video if you watched it. If not, this is just a 4.8 out of a Chevy Express van. I've got some swap headers for an S10 on it. Got the oil pan swapped out. I still need to get an oil filter, and then also figure out exactly what I'm doing there, because right now that's just kind of filling the hole. But I kind of cleaned up the valley a little bit more. The ports are kind of gross, but we're just gonna leave it. I got the coil packs and brackets and stuff cleaned up pretty good. I did put 2 new coils on it because these were missing when I bought it. I think the gentleman needed it for another motor he was doing, so you know, it is what it is. So I got those put on. I kind of fooled around with spark plug wires for a minute. Obviously the factory ones are not going to work, so if you have any suggestions for that, maybe leave it in the comments, because I don't know what kind of buy that's going to clear these headers, but we'll figure it out. Then there's the intake. So I need to get the O-rings put in it. I need to figure out where the different bolts go, because there's different lengths and it did not come with instructions. Yeah, and then I need to look and see if I have a carburetor gasket in stock. I probably don't, which is fine because that can't go on permanently anyway. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's just kind of a little tedious stuff. And I think I'm probably gonna wrap up this intake, get it snugged on there for good, throw a cover on this thing, and I don't know, I'm kind of feeling a little more motivated now than I was this morning, so I might dive into that transmission, but I want that to be its own video. So we may wrap up this intake install and maybe I'll start another video or something, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's get this knocked out and see what we're working with. Come on. Okay, I got my little workbench area, also known as my truck. I feel like these trucks were made to be workbenches because they've got indents where you can put your bolts and then they don't fall and you don't have to go find them, hopefully. So the first thing I'm going to do is the intake came with a plug for this vacuum port, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in now. I don't know if I'm going to need that vacuum port or not, but I'd rather have to take this out once I get closer to that point than have to remember to put it in, because that would be a pretty substantial vacuum leak. So I just put a little bit of thread tape on it, and now the birds decide to be very loud, so that's great. Okay. That should be good. The next thing, I gotta flip this over, and it's got O-ring grooves. It came with O-rings, so hopefully it seals up pretty good. Also hope that these fit good. So get these pressed in, which I will probably speed up for you guys because it's gonna take me a minute, and then we'll start trying to figure out what bolts go where. I think I kind of know, and then we'll get this thing thrown on the motor. you see me? Hopefully you're recording. I got all the O-rings put in. Couple things to note. You don't want to like get them started and then try and roll them in. You want to try and keep them. You want to try not to roll it because it's going to want to try and pull itself back out. So just take your time, work your way around, and make sure it sets in there flat. And that will help when you go to put it together. I have seen, not on these, but on some other stuff, I have seen where if you're not paying attention, this thing will pull itself back out of the groove. And then you go to bolt it together and it leaks or won't go together right. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this, and don't be afraid to kind of check them and make sure that they're not going to come out, because that will make for a bad time. So we got that done. Now I don't know why. Hopefully you guys can see. They have some of these machined up high. Some of them are low, which means you end up with different length bolts. Luckily, it looks like there's only 2 different lengths, so it should be pretty straightforward. The long ones have to go in the longer holes, obviously. So, these are not the greatest hardware, but that's part of buying cheap Chinese junk. You get what you pay for. So I kind of knew that going in. Okay, so there's all of our long bolts. And put all of our short bolts in. And then we'll throw this thing on the motor. See how it looks. Okay, let's see how this fits. Okay. You always want to, in a situation like this, you always want to get the bolts started by hand before you use any kind of power tools or anything like that on them. You want to make sure they go in pretty freely. I do not always do that, but I'm doing it today because I do know that it's the right way to do it. I'm actually going to just use an extension and a socket to start with. Just get them all down even. I don't want to go crazy tightening this because I want it to seal. Not like a seal, like a no vacuum leak kind of seal. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there's a specific torque pattern and spec for this. I'm just going to, you know, use my old calibrated elbows. And I'm not gonna tighten it all in one go. Just kind of snug it and work your way around. Aluminum will warp pretty easy, so just don't get too carried away. Go back to where you started. Now you just have to do this like 400 times. And then you'll be done. Okay, once you do that, 17 times, just always go back one more time, because those O-rings will kind of squish down as you go, and it'll feel tight, and then you'll get back around to the beginning and it will not be tight again. So yeah, that's basically it for installing this thing. There ain't nothing to it. You could torque it down with a wrench if you feel the need. I don't. I feel confident it's tight. This little tiny hardware is not going to take a bunch of torque anyway, so you don't want to get carried away wrenching on them. You got to remember they're small bolts, so you don't want to break them off or pull the threads out of the head because the head's aluminum, so it's not going to take a bunch of torque either. So yeah, that's basically it. I need to find some bolts and put my carb cover on. Shameless plug, if you want one of these, I make them and print them, and you can seal up your motor for when you're storing it, or if you got your carburetor off and you don't want stuff to fall in it. It's quite convenient. So if you're interested in that, check them out. Link in the description, as they say. The good YouTubers that sell stuff. So I don't know why I'm saying it, but anyway, yeah, I'm gonna see actually if I have a gasket, and maybe if I can round up some hardware, and maybe we'll bolt the carburetor on this thing. But I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the motor. I ended up having a gasket, but not hardware for this, so I just found a couple random bolts where I could at least bolt it down. I wanted to make sure that I was going to have clearance on all the linkages, make sure the bowls were going to be okay. I don't want to run a spacer if I don't have to, because I'm worried this is not going to fit under the hood of the truck. Something else I'm probably going to mess with here in a minute is getting this fan off, but yeah, I realized I mentioned the new coil packs. If you're interested, these are the ones that I bought. I don't know if they're worth anything yet, but they were like $8 a piece or $9 or something. So I'm cheap, and that's what I went with. Overall, I'm pretty happy. This is, other than getting that fan off, and I got stuff to switch the flex plate out, to swap it to the Power Glide. Obviously I need to do something with this, because this is just in here to fill the hole while I was cleaning it. I got some little stuff to figure out, but this thing's pretty much at a point where it can go in the truck now, at least for what I'm gonna do with it. So yeah, that's oh, I still need to clean up that stuff. I don't want to get rid of the manifolds yet, because if these don't fit and the manifolds will, I will be running those, but we'll just have to see how that works out. In saying all that, I think I'm actually going to end this video here. Like I said before, maybe, unless I cut it out and then this is the first time you're hearing it, I I think I'm gonna take a lunch break and dig into that transmission. Just kind of tinkering around a little bit this morning and driving my truck around has kind of helped my motivation. It is supposed to be pretty nice and also pretty hot today compared to what we're used to or have been used to the last couple months. It's supposed to be like 86 or something today, which for some people it's not that hot, but it rained all day yesterday, so it's going to be humid as crap, which is not my favorite, but that's fine. I don't know why I'm talking about the weather. Uh, that's a pointless thing to be talking about. Uh, so yeah, uh, sometimes the best thing for me is just to come out and kind of tinker with stuff and really get my mind right on why I do this stuff. Because sometimes it can get pretty frustrating. I know for me, I'm sure probably for some of you guys. So just I gotta figure out ways to keep myself excited and just knocking off little things that I was worried about having to do. I've been really irritated that I haven't been able to drive this thing because just trying to work the bugs out of it. But I think we made some headway on that too. And the last thing is I've been thinking about painting a logo on the door of this truck. Obviously, I'd love to have somebody do it, but I don't have money because project cars. And yeah, so I'd like to hear your guys' opinions. Uh, I'm kind of on the fence about it. Sometimes I really like logos on the doors, sometimes I don't. But I think I'm going to try it. I think that may be one of the future videos coming up. I want to try and do it myself. I'm not the most artistic person. You guys have seen me paint. You know that. But I'd like to try and figure it out. So let me know if you think it would look good with some lettering on the door. Also, let me know if you don't think it'd look good. Or if you'd be interested in seeing an idiot try it for the first time or not. Um, but after that long ramble for no good reason, I'm going to end this here and get myself some lunch. Uh, hope all of you have a great weekend. And if you take anything from this, just get out and tinker on your hot rods. It always puts me in a better mood. And if you guys have a mindset like mine, it'll probably do the same for you. Besides, therapy is expensive. So just get a project. See you. Appreciate you watching. Don't forget, like and subscribe. See you on the next one.